All right. Good morning, Do Hard Things Nation, to another episode of your weekly wake up. How you doing, Tom?
Doing great. Good morning.
Man, it's good. It's another Monday morning. How many times have we done this? I think this is like number 11, number 12.
Something like that. Having
It seems.
fun. Having
I
fun
know
doing it.
it's one of the things I look forward to as part of my week. It's a great way to start off Monday morning. Selfishly, I just love having the conversation with you because we're starting off the conversation with something positive, and all the feedback that we're getting and the other people just kind of popping in has just been icing on the cake, man. So if you're out there listening, we appreciate you taking the time to listen to Tom and I kind of banter. But selfishly, I mean, I get a lot out of just talking to other inspirational, motivational people, right? Just kind
I
of
have
bouncing
fun with
ideas
it
back
too,
and
man.
forth.
Without a doubt,
Yeah.
I have fun with it too.
I love it. So, well, this week we want to talk about living from your strengths. And Lacey made the shirt "Stronger Than Yesterday." And what
Nice.
this reminds me of is in high performance, we want to identify our strengths and live from our strengths and make them a habit. And then every day, you're stronger than you were the day before. Even on the days that you feel kind of weak, if you implement that high performance habit or you sharpen that edge in some capacity, it still feels like a win. Andy Frizzell talks about doing the critical tasks every day and getting those daily wins and chalking
Yeah.
up more W's than you do losses. And that's how you dominate life. What are your thoughts on that, brother?
Yeah, big time. Well, I mean, there's two concepts here. Number one is it's just the practice of starting out your day, starting out your week, and just imagine this: write down everything on the left side of a piece of paper, everything that you've done well, everything that you're good at, all of your strengths. And then, if you dare to make a list of every weakness on the right side, do it. Cut the paper in half, keep your strength list, burn the weakness list, burn it, just get rid of it. And just remind yourself of just how good you really are, because people are playing off their weaknesses. I'm not good enough. I'm not smart enough. I'm not good looking enough. But in fact, you've had many, many wins throughout your life. It's a great way to just pat yourself on the back and say, no, you actually have had a lot of wins. That's my first thought. And then my second thought is stronger than yesterday. One day at a time mentality. You do that incrementally over time, and you're going to become a Superman or a Superwoman just doing that. Little improvements.
It's little things with consistency that make it's putting that brick in the wall every day. It's the little things.
Yeah, the reality is, Jay, this shirt is powerful because it's it's a potent reminder of how you should live your life.
Absolutely, making and so a lot of people don't even know what their strengths, their weaknesses are. I mean, some of them are glaring. Sometimes we have glaring weaknesses, but one of the things we've talked about in performance circles and things like that is over the last 50 years in general in psychology, you'll always hear you need to shore up your weaknesses. You need to turn your weaknesses into strengths. And I just don't believe that. I don't believe that. In the science that has been conducted by High Performance Institute is that's just, yes, you need to shore up your weaknesses so they don't debilitate you, but as quickly as possible, you need to delegate and outsource those weaknesses, identify what your true strengths are, and then double down and really focus on those strengths.
Okay, there's actually research on that?
Yeah.
That's bullshit.
No, there is.
100%.
There is. Absolutely.
If you're a company owner and you need a salesperson, you're going to hire that person. That's it. If you need a front man for a TV commercial, you're going to hire that person. That's it. It's as simple as that. You focus on your strengths 100% and you make them even bigger.
Yeah. So just a couple of things. If you don't know where your strengths are, there's a lot of surveys out there that you can take to find out what your strengths are. And I'll drop a couple resources because some people just maybe they've never done it before. But there's a book called Strength Finders that you can go and take a little survey. And there's like a little book that you can identify like your top 5 strengths. And what I love about this book, I had a company commander that was part of my interview process, was to read this book, take the survey, and on the front of the book, you can actually write down what your 5 strengths are. And then you set this little book up so you can kind of remind yourself of your strengths. And you can open it up and kind of review it. And then if you're working with other people and you can identify their strengths and weaknesses and you have that understanding, then it just makes the team dynamic better. Having that open dialogue, like, hey, I'm good here. I'm not so good over here. Maybe you take this aspect of the project. I'll take this aspect, and we pool our strengths together, and the whole team is better. And that was the idea that he had. And it was actually very, very powerful to work in that kind of setting. So Strength Finders is one.
Nice.
There's the Kolbe, Kolbe. You take this little survey and you get like a score. There's like 4 different areas. They put people in 4 different buckets, like a fact finder. Are you the type that follows through? Are you a quick start, or are you an implementer? Those are like the 4 different areas. And then there's Gallup. Gallup's got the 4 buckets: strategic thinker. Are you an influencer? Are you a relationship builder? Are you an executor? So they all kind of go hand in hand, just different verbiage. But like you said, you got to start from knowing what your strengths are. And those are some resources that are available to you. So look up the Gallup Strength Finders, the Kolbe test, Strength Finders 2.0. The Enneagram is also another powerful one. Have you heard of the Enneagram?
Free?
Yeah, most of these are free.
Oh, nice. Okay, yeah. Something to do tonight.
Kolbe costs $50 to take that test.
Okay, it's a good test though.
Yeah, but I have learned, like, you get your Kolbe score and you're running around those circles. The people that are operating in those circles, they have their score. Like, I'm a 4187 or something like that. So they'll put their name up with the score, and that instantly tells people like where your strengths and weaknesses are. It's pretty wild.
Yeah, it's really good. Okay, what are your 3 or 4 biggest strengths?
My biggest strengths are that I'm a quick start. So I am quick to take action and get things moving. So I'm a quick start type of person. I'm also a visionary. So I have big visions, and I can influence people to take action toward that vision. And then I am a implementer. I can get things done and get things moving. Those are my strengths.
Okay, nice.
What about you?
What are your weaknesses?
Weaknesses?
One weakness.
I'll be honest.
One.
Organization, especially when it comes to like computer and email and getting organized sometimes is very complicated for me. It's so bizarre, but that's one of my things. I am not the most organized person sometimes because I'm going 1,000 miles an hour. And so like, I'll just kind of like a freaking tornado. I'll be like rolling through getting things done, but I'll take massive action. I'm like one of those guys that can get like, I'll just like, we're going to ship it. We're going to get the things done, but it's that fine tuning. Like, you'll see it on my posts sometimes. I'll just launch it sometimes and there'll be like misspellings in it, or my grammar's not always great, but I'm like, I used to hold myself back. I'm like, no, just ship it. I don't care.
It's actually better that way. People see those mistakes and they realize you're human.
Yeah. So that's kind of my thing. I make a lot of mistakes. I'll say things but I take massive action. So that's the positive, but with that comes that aspect of it. What about you? What are your strengths?
Well, you know, it's funny, living from your strengths. I remember a long time ago, I was a very self-conscious teenager. I'm still self-conscious. And I remember looking at a bigger person like Rick Shank, very muscular. And I'm like, shoot, man, I'm 135 pounds soaking wet. I'm scrawny. And I looked at Brian Watada. Brian Watada was very smart. I wasn't a smart dude. I struggled in school in many of my classes, many of my years. And then you look at some of the other guys, the athletes, you know, John Meeker, really good athlete. I was a decent athlete, but man, like I'm not good in any category. And what do people do? They beat themselves up. Those are not strengths. That's not how you classify strengths. So I actually wrote them down. My biggest strengths. These are things that anyone can have. My scheduling and time management ability. Mm-hmm. Anyone can work on that. My consistency. I'm the most consistent person around. Third thing, my resolve. I remember going like 2 years without having a coffee, 5 years without eating junk food. I just stopped cold turkey. My resolve, I wasn't going to do it. I just kept my word. Being analytical, looking at the pros and cons of those things. Anyone can develop those. Mm-hmm. So those are my strengths. And those have propelled me forward in a big way versus looking at myself and beating myself up over my looks, lack of muscle, intelligence, whatever. Now, it's so easy to create a list of things, work towards them, and get better at them and claim them as strengths. It's not that difficult.
Absolutely. What would you say your weakness is?
I don't have any weaknesses, Jay.
No weaknesses. Come on. There's a chink in the armor somewhere.
Weaknesses. Oh man. I'm critical of myself. right? I beat myself up a little bit for maybe a job that's not excellent.
Yeah.
You know, you could have done this better. Why didn't you do this better? And beat yourself up a little bit.
When you find yourself in that being critical on yourself, how do you snap out of it?
It goes back to analysis. Okay, let's look at the pros of what I've done. Look at the
Yeah.
cons. I actually got a lot done. I'm in a
Yeah.
good place.
Yeah.
And
I'll do
just
that too. I get
That's it.
frustrated about lack of progress. Like I think I'm like, it's not moving as fast as I want it to move. So I'll get frustrated.
Yeah.
And that's why I love having, like, you know, you got some teammates around you that are like, no, dude, look at what you just accomplished. Just let's take a moment and let's make the list and let's look at time over the last couple of weeks, the last couple of months, and look at how far we've come. It's
Oh
like,
yeah,
you know
big
what?
time.
And usually when you do that, you're like, damn, you know what? We actually did a
We
lot.
actually did a lot. Yeah.
Lacey did that over the weekend. We were driving up to Michigan for Ragnar, and she had an old a list on her note, like of all the things, like I think starting from like 6 months ago, like all of the things that she's done with business, and then helping out the back end with Do Hard Things and all the shirts and everything that we've got going on. It was actually pretty powerful to go through the checklist that she had. Like, man, you know, setting up the LLC, setting up, you know, getting the accounting squared away, you know, getting this account set up, securing, you know, the Sapper Leader course account, like some of these bigger accounts where she's actually doing apparel for these organizations.
Yep.
Super cool to go back in time and just kind of see, you know,
yeah,
what you've done. And
Yeah,
that was pretty powerful.
Oh yeah.
So,
but you take a look at a person who might be struggling, a person who might be in a rut, or somebody who wants to take it to the next level. What are a couple things that they can do to really live by their strengths, Jay? Like one or two things.
well, first and foremost, I think we already hit it, but you have to first and foremost know what are your strengths. What is it what are the handful of strengths that you have? And then you identify specifically, what do you want? What do you want to accomplish? And then you craft that plan to execute, but you implement your strengths. And what I would tell people is like, okay, are there things in your life that are, because a lot of people are like, I don't have time for this, I don't have time for that. Well, what could you delegate to someone else? Because that, and look at the things that you're kind of weak at, or some of the activities that you don't enjoy doing, and handing that off to someone else that can do that can thrive in that. Yeah. And that frees up your time so you can actually earmark some time to execute toward the things that you want to accomplish.
Yeah. Yeah, big time. I think even before that, though, Jay, you've got to make a decision. You've got to make a choice that, hey, I want to step out of this being average and actually do something with my life.
Yeah.
I think that's the first step. I could very easily say this to you, Jay, and I know you've got a similar story. I can easily say something like this to you. You look at me and you know that I'm struggling, and all I have to say is this, Jay, my dad was an alcoholic. I never had the ability to exploit my options and really make something out of myself because of my dad. We lived in poverty. You don't understand, Jay. We really struggled. That's why I'm where I'm at. I can easily say that. I can put up my badge, okay, my excuse badge, my story badge. I can show that badge to you. I could flash it to you. I feel better now because now you understand why I haven't achieved. And honestly, Jay, you can look at that and you could look at me and you can walk away and say, I don't really give a shit about Tom's situation. I do, but it doesn't apply to me. So he's told me his story. He can stay that way. And then I can walk around feeling good. Okay, Jay understands. Jay understands why I'm not doing well. All right, I'm off the hook. Off what hook? You still have to live your miserable life. And that's it, because nobody cares. And then you live alone and you live in misery and you live with regrets. I think the first step is saying, I have a story that I'm going to ditch. And I am going to live from my strengths, stronger than yesterday.
Absolutely.
And that's it. Why do women put on makeup in the morning? Most women do.
Well, a lot of it's got to do, and it's this cultural thing that has been developed. It's a lot of self-consciousness.
You think so?
There's a lot of that. I know a lot of women struggle with that.
That's possible. How about this? Do you think they're just putting their best foot forward?
Oh, I mean, that's the ultimate intent. Yes.
Right. If I go outside and get a little bit of a suntan, my color looks better. My complexion looks better. I've made an improvement. Why do people groom themselves? Why do they, shave their beards, trim their beards, comb their hair? Men do it
Yeah.
just as women would put on makeup. They want to present their best selves.
Yeah.
Why does the president of the United States put on a suit
Wear that tie, right? Yeah.
or the tie?
Yeah.
They want to present their best self.
Yeah.
Okay, so as far as I'm concerned, we all do it. We all live from our strengths. We groom ourselves to look presentable at our workplace for ourselves. That's the first way to start. Groom yourself. Look your best, because when you look good, you start to act better. That's the first thing. That's an easy step.
Yeah. And you exude confidence.
Big time.
Right? Like, yeah, it just says a lot about yourself. Like, I'm the type of person that cares about how I look, and not to be vain. I mean, you can overdo it, but like you said, give you that a little bit of confidence in yourself and how you carry yourself. There's it's a non, most of communication is nonverbal. It's part of that having command presence, right?
Yeah.
So putting your best foot forward.
Right. And I think the second way to do it is one of the easiest ways. Making money's hard. Having an awesome relationship isn't always that easy. But as far as I'm concerned, something simple that you can make big changes with over the next couple months is your body. There's so many people who are overweight to obese. It's not funny. So I'm looking at a guy like Tom Arnold, John Goodman. I just saw pictures of both of them just recently. And I did not realize, because I remember Tom Arnold as a heavy guy. John Goodman was even heavier. Have you seen them recently?
I have not. John Goodman, the last time I saw him, was pretty slender. Like, he used to be a really big dude.
Looks fantastic. He looks incredible. And I look at a guy like Tom Arnold. Again, he looks amazing. And he said, I want to look good for my kids. I want to keep active with my kids. I look at a guy like Jeff Goldblum, who I was watching this TV show on National Geographic. I did not realize he's almost 70 years old.
He looks great. Just saw him in Jurassic Park, and he's got another TV show. I was actually really surprised. He hasn't changed much as far as how he looks.
He hasn't changed a bit. He's still the Fly, right? Superhuman. But here's the thing. You can make some changes to your body very quickly. And if let's say you're very overweight and you move towards being overweight, people are still going to comment. They're going to say, hey, good job. You're doing amazing. Keep up the good work, and you're going to feel better about yourself. So again, better than yesterday.
Yeah.
Simple improvements.
I think your health, like, of all the pillars to work on, like you said, quick impact, doesn't require, in a very short amount of time, you can really transition rapidly, and it affects your energy, how you feel, your confidence. And that's why, we focus so much on, in the Do Hard Things community, we talk about health a lot, and we're out running because it's the things that you can see. Now, relationships and all these other areas, it's a little bit more difficult, but if you apply those same principles, you will see it and notice it. But I love because the health and wellness you can actually see and feel faster than anything else.
Yeah, big.
But you're absolutely right. You want to gain confidence.
Go ahead.
I said, if you want to gain confidence and all those things, start there. Start there.
Oh yeah. And then the other thing too is, you ever heard somebody who said something like, "Oh, I did a Spartan race this weekend. Yeah, and they feel so good. They didn't really train for it, but they did it. They overcame themselves. They did something that was a little bit extraordinary. Yeah, and they feel amazing about it." Right? Or they do a 5K or a 10K and they feel awesome because they don't normally do something, but because they did, they feel proud of their accomplishment. Yeah. Jay, my whole life is designed around winning a day, promising that I'm going to do something, completing it, and saying, Tom, good job. You did what you said you were going to do. That's called stronger than yesterday. It's following through. You want to build your self-esteem, build your character, just keep the promises to yourself. It's that simple. You want to win on the daily. By the end of the week, you said, holy shit, I had a really good week. I did everything I said I was going to do. I'm proud of myself.
Yeah. It's making your strengths and excellence a habit, and getting shit done a habit. Yeah. And you start winning the days. You start winning the days on a consistent basis. Things really start to move. The momentum really shifts. But for so many people that are leaving everything up to randomness, when you leave things up to randomness and you're not focused on these things, then you're going to get random outputs, and you're going to feel like you're not winning because you're not intentional about it.
Yep.
And I think that's what high performing people do that are living life on offense do, is we're very deliberate about what are we going to do with our health and wellness today? How am I going to pour into a relationship today? How am I going to advance my business or make money or invest? How am I going to develop myself each and every day? You know, back when I had COVID, that week that I had COVID, and I just wanted to lay on my ass and do nothing, and it was just like I just felt like I was surviving. I was still doing 75 hard, and just getting up and going for that walk outside, I still felt that I got something done. It still felt like a win to me because I took action, and that habit ingrained even on my worst day. And when you make that a habit, you just feel like you're freaking dominating life. And it feels good.
Oh, big time. Well, here's a couple challenges for you. I know these sound ridiculous. Number one is you just went through a weekend and it's now Monday, you know, back on track kind of thing. My challenge to you and all the listeners is have a good, healthy dinner tonight. I mean, doesn't that sound preposterous? Just ridiculous. It's such an easy thing. My challenge to you is have a good dinner tonight. Good, healthy dinner, balanced, no junk food, no processed stuff. Just have a good dinner. It'll be tasty, but keep it pretty clean. Is it that difficult to ask for?
Yeah, because I want Ben and Jerry's for dessert.
Of course.
No. So you're saying skip dessert, or we go for the Ben and Jerry's?
Skip dessert. Save dessert for Saturday or something.
Yeah. No, I love it. That's
It's something.
It's the little things, right?
Little things.
Yeah.
Check this out. I know this sounds again ridiculous. When you go to the store, my wife and I are going to go to the bank. We're probably going to hit a couple stores today, run some errands. Instead of buying something that we don't need, I mean, I look at something, I can justify buying almost anything, right? Instead of buying it, take that money that you would have spent and put it into an investment. That $25 you were going to buy on a dog brush or whatever the cost is. Okay, I'm going to take that money that I would have spent anyway. I'm going to still use the old dog brush, but I'm going to take that 25 and I'm going to invest it someplace. And I'm going to leave it for a couple of years and see what happens to it. That money was gone anyway. That's what I'm talking about when it comes down to small wins. It's that easy. You just program your mind to win the small wins.
Go to Robinhood and buy that stock, or get Coinbase and maybe buy a little bit of Bitcoin or something like that. It's the little things like that. Just transition your actions.
Simple, man. Yeah. It's that simple.
Yeah. It's the
do
little
enough
things.
Of those small wins. Boy, do they ever stack up like crazy. But people think they need to do the extraordinary stuff. Yeah.
No, it's hitting the singles. It's swinging singles every day.
Oh man,
and you're gonna hit.
Oh yeah.
You get that batting average up there, and every now and then you're gonna knock out a home run or even a grand slam. It's gonna happen.
Yeah, but
you gotta keep getting up the bat.
If you get the singles, you want to use the baseball analogy. So many people want to hit the home run, and they strike out, and then they feel bad. You hit a single, and then another one, and then another one. The bases are now loaded. Every single you get, you're driving in a run.
Yep.
Every single time. You know, all of a sudden, 6 or 7 at bats later, you're up 3-0 because of those singles.
You got to swing them singles. Get up to bat. Quit sitting in the cheap seats. Get on the field.
Oh damn, man.
We've talked about that one a couple times.
Yeah, we did. Cheap seats wearing somebody else's jersey, living through them. Yep, you're going far.
Yeah. So when it goes to coming full circle back to living from strengths, what advice would you give someone that are just feeling like I don't have any strengths. I don't, and they're kind of wallowing in their own self-pity, and maybe they've got that story. They're trying to break free from that story. Because I think there's a lot of people trapped by something that's happened to them in the past. How do they break free?
Oh man, I would basically look at myself in the mirror and slap myself silly. Just like, what's wrong with you? Get rid of that story. And then what I would do is I would go to my kids and I would say, hey, this is what I'm going to do. This is what I'm going to accomplish. This is who I am. I'm going to do this because I want to set an example for you.
Yeah.
Put something on the line. Because if you don't, you're just going to continue to wallow tomorrow never comes.
I love that, because we'll do more for other people than we will ourselves. And I think about the lowest point in my life where I just wanted to tap out in life. What caused me to want to continue on was for my kids. And I'm like, I'm not doing this. I made that decision. Like, I made the decision. I'm not living like this anymore. And it hasn't been an easy journey, but it starts with making the decision. And it's tied in for the benefit of other people. Who's relying on you? Who needs you to show up on your A game? Who loses if you don't win?
Yeah, Jay, it's interesting because I would say we're both pretty successful people, and people watching this might be down in the dumps. They may be down in the dumps. And I've said this before, I'm going to say it again. There was a moment in time, I think it was 2017. If a truck hit me, I was okay with that. It didn't matter to me. I was living for other people. And I'm saying my kids. I felt like it was an obligation to live for my kids and serve my kids when I was at my lowest. And I was okay with being hit by a truck. So I've been there. You've been there. We've both been there. People listening to this may be there right now. But when you've got something greater than yourself, living for your kids, living for a cause, whatever, there's some value to your life. You can turn things around.
Yeah. It's finding that sense of purpose and direction. And if you're thinking those things and you're suffering, you can rewire yourself. You can rewire the brain. It's all in the mind. It's all in the mind.
You can.
And it's creating new neural pathways in a new way. And it's going to require the radical change in your habits and who you hang out with and what you're doing. But you can change. And that's really the mission of what we're trying to do here is create that community of growth mindset people. So when I log into my Facebook, I'm seeing people like Do Hard Things Nation, like crushing it, right? It's like, shit, I can't, if I find that moment of weakness where I'm like, man, I really suck today. Okay, that's bullshit. That's not how we live. That's not part of the tribe mentality. I got to get out of it. I'm going to call Tom, and Tom slapped me out of this, or one of my other friends, like, let's get back on it. Because we all need these reminders. We're all human.
Yeah, we do. And again,
that's why, wearing something like this, I look at myself in the mirror like, okay, those bullshit stories. I'm not what defined me in the past. I'm not the shit that happened to me. I've had some traumatic shit happen to me, and I'm not that person. I'm not going to allow that to defeat me because I'm stronger than I was yesterday, and I'm committed to excellence and growing every single day and swinging those signals.
Yeah, Jay, the shirt is really significant. I would encourage somebody to buy the shirt. I'm not trying to make a sales pitch here, but you want to change your identity. You put on a shirt like that and you take a good look at the word stronger than yesterday. That's called identity shifting, right? I'm going to be better than I was yesterday. Yesterday was really shitty, but today I'm stronger than yesterday. I survived. Another checkbox. Hey, I survived this day. I can do better. It's a powerful shirt, dude. I really like it.
You walk in the grocery store, you walk into Starbucks, and you walk up to that person that's suffering. Because the coolest thing about like Ragnar over the weekend, we had the Do Hard Things flags out there and the variety of different shirts. And people would come up like, fuck, man, that's awesome. I love that. We're out here doing hard things. I want my kids to do hard things. That is awesome. It starts up conversations because most shirts that you see out there, it's, whatever. This is a statement. Like, not only is it a reminder to me, but someone's going to walk up and be like, man, I needed to see that today. And maybe you strike up a good conversation with another good person. And that's what I'm finding is like, it's really cool to have deep, meaningful conversations with someone I've never met before. Super cool.
Yeah, big time. I'd rather wear that shirt. I'd rather wear that shirt than have a shirt that says Gucci and say, hey, Jay, look at me. I've got a Gucci shirt. You don't.
Yeah.
I mean,
I don't know. To each their own. But hey, that these are all Lacey's doing a great job with these. So, but all right. Well, hey, this is my favorite part of the week. We've got someone that's been crushing it, demonstrating, doing hard things. So I'm going to share my screen. I think I got it figured out for this week. I know last week we had some problems here. So let me share my screen. This week we'd like to highlight. There she is. That is Carrie Humberg Cage, and she has two sons, Dayton and Sterling. That's her son, Dayton. But Dayton has had some severe disabilities ever since birth. And Carrie has sacrificed so much to be his caretaker. And she's a loving, dedicated mother who would do anything and has sacrificed so much to take care of her son. And I don't want to go into great details, but recently, we talk a lot about sometimes we have to end certain things or stop doing certain things, and that requires a lot of strength. And Carrie's going through a very difficult time, but she's going through it with resolve and strength. and she's done a lot of back end work with the Do Hard Things Nation. And this is Lacey's sister. So I just want to say that super proud of Carrie and her resolve of what she's going through right now. And she's demonstrated her whole life that we can do hard things. And she's definitely a role model for so many people to emulate. And life is tough. And I'm telling you, one of the people, if I inventory people with remarkable strength and character, with consistency, Carrie is one of those people, and she's a selfless servant and just wonderful mother. And
something about moms, man. Something about moms.
That motherly strength. Just
absolutely, 100%.
Yeah. So Carrie's amazing. Lacey here says Carrie Humberg Cage deserves this more than anyone I know, and absolutely right. Just remarkable of all the things that she's going through and what she's been able to accomplish. So. Thank you, Carrie, for all you do for your son, for yourself, and the community. We appreciate you, and yeah, we're going to send you a shirt. And if you receive a shirt, something like that, it's probably got Carrie's fingerprints on it somewhere along the way. She's part of the process. We appreciate her. So thank you, Carrie. Keep doing hard things. So, all right. What else? Anything you want to highlight before we bounce out today?
Dude, it's almost summertime. Or is it summertime now?
It's summertime here. I don't know how. It's probably always summertime down where you're at.
Always summertime.
You're down by the equator, so
rainy season.
Getting hotter.
Actually, you're probably it's probably hotter where you are.
We have a lot of humidity.
Almost guaranteed. It's comfortable right now.
Yeah, we have a lot of humidity here over the weekend.
This is the perfect time to get outdoors and pursue your fitness goals. This is the perfect time. You want to make some changes to your body. Move around. It'll change your mindset. That's my recommendation. Just start running with it. Just start going with the, a little bit of a fitness boost over the next couple months. Get into better shape. Get your body moving. Get your circulation going. You're going to feel much better. You can make some significant changes that everyone's going to notice. You're going to notice. Your family's going to notice. That's my advice to you. You want to live from your strengths. That's the way to do it. Something every day.
Get your mind right. Get your body tight.
I love it. That's simple. How about you, Jay? What are some final thoughts?
Final thoughts for me is, I want to go back through and take one of because I think that your strengths can change. It's been a minute since I took the Colby recently, but I want to go back through that Strength Finders book. And I think that's a book that we're probably going to go through on the in the Forge community here pretty soon. We've talked about it a few times. And just kind of re-inventory, hey, have I developed a new strength? Am I still on track with my strengths? And so that's what I'm kind of thinking about today is like, how can I double down on my strengths? And what is something that I need to get off of my plate? Because I do have a lot of irons in the fire. And as I was thinking about weaknesses and getting rid of, like, what could I delegate or outsource to something else? So in addition to eating my healthy meal tonight, I'm going to find something. I'm going to outsource it to someone else.
Nice. So, I like that. Jay, here's the thing too. I will look at one of these tests and I'm going to look at whatever new strength I've got. And I think it's great to say, hey, I've got these 3 or 4 strengths. Fine. You got your little badge, but I think you take one of those strengths and you actually take action on it and you apply.
Yeah.
All right. It's like reading a book. If you take your book and you're not reading from, you're not learning from it and doing something with it, what was the point?
Absolutely.
In your head, take action.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm going to do today as well. I'm going to draw from one of the sources that you've got, find out a new strength, and I'm actually going to take action tonight on that. Something tangible, something quantitative, and share that strength with somebody.
So here's a question that my coach, Brendan Bouchard, has constantly challenged us with, because he's always talking about you got to live from your strengths. And he's like, the question is this: what are your top 3 strengths, and what is one thing that you're trying to become world class at? Now, we think about that question. We're not just dabbling. Raise your ambition, and what are you trying to become world class at? And when you think about like the effort that it takes for someone to become world class at something, that's an order of magnitude on doubling down on your strengths. So if you're listening to this, what are your strengths? What are you trying to become world class at? If you could pick one of them, what would that be? And I think for me, I'm constantly refining and improving my communication ability. I find strength in my communication, but I'm really trying to improve that, be a better speaker, and articulate the do hard things message, because that's what's reliant upon the success of the movement, right? Is being able to communicate. I still have a long way to go in that, but that's one of my focus areas.
Yeah, Jay, you know, what's interesting when you say become world class at it. Initially, it kind of just raised my eye, or saying like, what is Jay talking about? World class. I'm just trying to get out of the basement.
Yeah.
Like, okay. But here's the thing though, that actually does apply. So I'm thinking, okay, I'm looking at time management. I'm going to become world class at my time management. And I already think I am world class at it.
Yeah.
Case in point, how long does it take somebody to write a book? It took me less than 2 months, because I'm world class at my time management. I wrote a 312-page book in 2 months, got published in 2 months, graphics and all. World class time management skills. So it's actually not pie in the sky. I think it's totally doable, but that's the attitude you have to have.
No, that's the people that we put up on a pedestal that we think are superhuman. They've doubled down on their strengths, and they are so laser focused on it. That's the difference. It's getting crystal clear and focused and staying regimented, all the things that we've talked about. So,
really good. A lot of nuggets today, dude.
We did. This is we pan and gold this morning and just jumping it everywhere. There's gold nuggets everywhere this morning. So for those that are out there listening, we appreciate you. You can go to dohardthingsnation.com. You can go back if you like what we're talking about. For the, we got the podcast has been out for it's been like 18 months. And we've been doing the Monday morning weekly wake up as part of the podcast lineup. So go to dohardthingsnation.com. You want to check out some previous episodes. If you're ready to level up, you want to take your life to the next level, you can touch base with either one of us for one-on-one coaching. We also have the group called the Forge Mastermind Group and Community. And you want to get one of these awesome shirts or with one of these sayings with the Do Hard Things logo on it. Remind people that you do hard things. You remind yourself. Go to dohardthingsnation.com. There's a whole bunch of designs over there. And this week, we're announcing our first event for on September 10th. We are doing the Do Hard Things 9/11 run. It's a 9/11, 9.11 miles to commemorate 9/11, and 5K run. And we have a virtual option. So if you're not here local in Missouri, you can do it virtually. So we're working on that as well. So those are some of the things that we're doing in the Do Hard Things Nation. We're going to have other events and other things coming down the pike. So stay tuned. Make sure you smash that subscribe button. And if you got an insight or a nugget from Tom and I this morning, we want to hear about it. So you can email us. You can go to dohardthingsnation.com or if you're listening to the replay, just hashtag replay and then put your comment in there. And we'd be happy to answer any questions that you have, or send us a message or shoot us a message on DM. You can reach out to both of us on social. We'd love to hear from you. So with all that, that's about it. Beautiful. Stronger than yesterday. Do hard things. We'll see you guys. We'll see you guys soon. Oh, right, cheers. 6:30 Central Standard Time, the Do Hard Things community call. So check out if you're not part of the Facebook group, go over there. So all that to say, have a kick-ass Monday, do hard things.